Live from the capital, Gaborone. This is BTV News at 9 o'clock. I am Khomotso Mapani. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Masisi launched the Muchudi electric power substation plant this morning. Ms. Bitumelo Gofamudimo sworn in as specially elected member of parliament. And in sports, the mayors continue with their preparations ahead of WAFCON. Interpreting in sign language is Amantle Babili. Good evening. President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi says the launch of the Muchudi electric power substation is testament to the government commitment to ensure that there's improved and efficient power supply for citizens. The president said this when officially opening the electric power substation located at Dipiring Lands in Rasisa. The substation will facilitate, among others, the transfer of villages in Gauteng from the South African grid to the national grid.
The country's current electricity supply stands at 81%. However, some villages in Gauteng district have been relying on electricity supply from the neighboring country, South Africa, while others have been experiencing severe power outages due to the far connections and growth in demand of electricity. With the launch of the Muchudi power substation, these challenges will subsequently be addressed.
Re ntse re a wela mo go etseng maitlamo a ne ra ntsha Gaborone le mahelo a putugileng Gaborone le ona nana le go tshabelelwa ke go kgaoga motlakase le gore batla go imelwa e be go ira dipatlisiso tsena tsone da ira gore go nne le wa sekgwa go bidwang a transmission backbone infrastructure reinforcement project e le go sireletsa go baballa le go tlhomamisa gore mongwe le mongwe wa kola motlakase o ileng gore wa ikanyega ko Ramotswa ko Tlokweng ko Muchudi.
To improve households' electricity connection, which currently stands at 66%, the president said government took a decision to offer free of-charge connection starting April 1st.
Re tsere tshotso engwe gape a ke re go ntse go duelwa ka 5,000 go ka 5,000 a ke la itse e be re hokotsa go gokelwa ka 2,500 a ke la itse gompie go kare ke ipoeletsa re hokuditse go gokelwa ka 0 pula noto.
The need for the upgrade was identified through a long-term systems planning process, which recommended installation of the 132 kV line and a bulk supply substation to meet the power demand in the Gauteng district. In addition to addressing the network capacity constraints in the Gauteng district, the project also enabled connection of the river villages to our national grid.
The board chairperson, your board management and staff, betso tswelela njalo gore a letsana le re le lenelang le dirise sentle go le gantsi kana ya nna go BBC na tsheletse madi hela mme ka re ga e dire sentle betso go na le bothata bo re tswang go bone kgakala bo eleng gore ba akanya jaanong.
This substation will help address electricity woes in the district.
Se ke se itumelang segolo tota hela ka tiro e ke gore ditlhabololo dingwe tse eleng gore di etla mo kgaolong e tse eleng gore di tlo tlhoka motlakase segolo jang di tla kgona gore e re ga di diragadiwa e be di diragadiwa ka bonolo.
Mo Gauteng mo re ntse re na le tshwenyego la gore ke mo motlakase o kgaoga yana difounu tsa rona di tlabe di ikhwitsa go amogela melaetsa e tswang go ba BPC ba re le re itshwarele sa ntse re tokahatsa.
The substation will facilitate the supply of electricity to villages in Gauteng district, including Mabalani, Sikwane, Ramonaka, and Maulolwane. Monica Saswaila, BTV News.
President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi this morning led members of parliament to the Namibian High Commission, where they signed the book of condolences in honor of the late President Hage Geingob, who passed away on the 4th of February. Reflecting on the relationship the late president had with Botswana, the Foreign Affairs Minister, Dr. Lemogang Kwape, says the passing of President Geingob is not only a huge loss to the people of Namibia, but to Botswana as well. Botswana and Namibia share long-standing historical, cultural and family ties which have stood the test of time. President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi is expected to travel to Namibia to attend the memorial service and the state funeral of the late President Hage Geingob.
Tirisanyo tsa Botswana le Namibia di tla tswela di nonohile jaaka di nonohile. Lo gakologelwa gore maloba re ne re ile go ribolola botatuna ba ne ba ile go ribolola go tsamaya ka omang mo mahatsheng o mabedi. Ke selo se se tona mme re eletsa gore tse dingwe tse dintle ditle jaaka re itse rona le thulaganyo ya gore go irwe tsela ya terena e tsamaya gare ga mahatsi o mabedi. Ke ditoro tse ne President Geingob a na le tsone, ke ditoro tse re tla di tshegetsang re le hatsi la Botswana gore tseo tse na di lora ka mahatsi o mabedi di diragale. Ke ne le tsala e gaugi thata le tautona wa rona Masisi. E ne le tsala tse go tlogote they were bosom friends ka sekgowa. Bongwe le bongwe ne ba tsamaya mmogo teng ne ka seke ba buiko ba iseke ba nne mmogo ba bo ba re leleki re be re ipotse re le bodiredi gore yang ra go itse yang gore batsadi ba rona ba ne ba bua eng mme seo ne se supa gore ba ne ba tsalane thata ne ba gakololana yaanong ke ka akanyegela gore tautona Masisi o utlwalega jang ka gore mogolowe yo ne ile gore nako le nako ba buisana ba gakololana o tsamaile tota motho o latlhegetseng thata mo Botswana ke tautona rona re tla ha re tla go ema tautona nokeng.
The President, Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi, will address Parliament tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. The President will brief Parliament on his upcoming visit to Namibia to attend the memorial service and state funeral for the late President Hage Geingob. Meanwhile, President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi last night watched a premiere of a documentary titled Botswana, the Diamond of Africa, which profiles this country as a model of limitless opportunities. The documentary was produced by Penresa in collaboration with CNBC. President Masisi is one of the leading protagonists in the documentary, where he narrates Botswana's history and its aspirations alongside other players that include cabinet ministers and private sector leaders. The documentary adds to many others that have been produced to profile the country both locally and internationally. It enhances many of the campaigns that this country has made globally to assert itself on many fronts, such as being a leader in mining, tourism, conservation and political stability. In other news, Ms. Boitumelo Famodimu was sworn in this afternoon by the Speaker of the National Assembly as the new specially elected Member of Parliament. The swearing-in follows the by-election of the specially elected Member of Parliament process held yesterday in accordance with Section 58 of the Constitution of Botswana.
I, Boitumelo Sendiko Famodimu, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Botswana, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Botswana as by law established. So help me God.
Principal Scientific Officer Mr. Kibitselepe Motsele says it is important for the Department of Veterinary Services to raise awareness and give farmers control measures to deter spillage of foot and mouth, which has already spread in South Africa. He says farmers should be aware and control their livestock movement to prevent the disease from entering Botswana. He said this during a training workshop for farmers and influential community members from Good Hope District held at the Big Valley near Lobaza. Pel Puduhudu.
cattle rearing sector is one of the sectors which plays a very vital role in growing the economy of this country, as it also comes a long way in selling beef to European countries. It is important that foot and mouth disease is prevented from entering the country, as its effects could be detrimental to Botswana's exportation of beef.
So dikgwetlho di teng mo mahatsheng gape tse di tshwanang tsa bo tiriso ya melemo re tshwanetse ra tsaya boikarabelo ja go itse gore re le barui ha re ruile ha re kentile re tshwanela ke gore re bo re lebeletse gore re alaga ka molemo o letelesegang o letwang.
Safeguarding livestock from the disease could help improve the quality of the beef produced in Botswana and its products.
Kana go re lo lemoge ba ga itse gore ga o bua ka tsone dio tsentseng ke di balololatse ke karolo e tona ya dijo ha go sena nama e re neelang dikotla mebele ya rona e palelwa ke go itirela madi ona tsamanga mahibidua a thokana le nama jaanong ha re ka nna re sena nama e pehela mo go rona e re nang nayo ka ebile le dithapi ga re na tsone mo kgaolong ye di bonwa go sele re ba ga mang.
Farmers and community leaders from Good Hope district say they have learned a lot from this workshop.
Re rute balemi ka rona ka bo diphatsa tša bolwetse jo ha ka re bontse yana jwa tsena mo kgaolong ya rona jaaka re itse gore yone kgaolo e ke yone BMC e leng mo go yone mme kana ha bo ka utlwala bo le teng BMC ka re ntse yana ya tswala e sa tswaleng mmaraka o re nang le one wa EU kana le one ga ka wa tlhola go reka dikgomo ka diparasi kana ka ditlhwatlhwa tse di botoka tseo di dirisang gampieno jaana
a re tshwareng dikgomo re dintshang go boda re mme bila gape ra itse gore go setse go emisitswe mo tsamao wa dikgomo mo kgaolong ya rona ya Pitsane yaanong bangwe a tle re ba gakola re ba ra re nyaga go kwadise dikgomo e be nna o ka tloga re gongwe ka nngwe tsela ra ba kgokgontsha mme re leka go ba lebisa gore kana ha bolwetse bo ka tsena ka go rona ka kwano re tla bo re nyeletse.
If not controlled, foot and mouth could negatively affect the country's economy. Pearl Puduhudu, BTV News.
Bank of Botswana Governor Mr. Cornelius Dikop says the domestic economy is expected to grow by 4.2% in 2024 compared to 3.2% in 2023. He says government stimulation programs such as the National Transition Plan are key in supporting economic growth activity. The governor said this when the bank was launching the 2024 monetary policy statement in Gaborone today.
The governor shared that the main contributors towards economic growth in the last year featured various sectors including electricity and water supply and finance amongst others. Meanwhile, the performance of the mining industry, upon which the growth of the local economy heavily depends, is said to have been unsatisfactory in the last year, to a point where its contribution to economic growth declined in comparison to the previous years.
The domestic economy is estimated to have expanded by 3.2% in 2023, revised downwards from the earlier projection of 3.8% due to mining production, the reduction in mining production and sales. Domestic inflation fell an average 5.2% in 2023. The inflation profile in 2023 was against the background of subdued demand and reduction in domestic fuel prices, amongst others. Demand conditions, and as indicated by below potential economic activity, were modest and non-inflationary.
He also indicated that global economic development remains stable at 3.1% in 2024, unchanged from 2023.
Global economic prospects in 2024. Now, looking ahead to prospective economic developments in 2024, global economic growth is expected to remain subdued at 3.1% in 2024, unchanged from 2023, against the backdrop of continued challenging prospects faced by advanced economies. Therefore, the domestic financial system remains robust is resilient, safe, sound, and unconstrained in providing, innovating, and growing the range of financial services to support the economy, and that it is well supported by good macroeconomic policies and regulatory frameworks.
The launch of the 2024 Monetary Policy Statement was graced by different government officials, wherein the Central Bank presented the Monetary Policy Statement to the Minister of Finance, Ms. Peggy Serame. Unkutle Thamage, BTV News, Gaborone.
Dr. Kiabetswe Solomon of Botswana Television Hospital in Maung has encouraged non-governmental organizations and some government departments to form collaborations that would improve services provided to people living with disabilities. Dr. Solomon made this plea during a community outreach program organized by Tsidilong Stimulation Center. Maranyane Samakata.
Oftentimes, people living with disability find it difficult to access services for varying reasons. Dr. Solomon says it is important for people living with disability to know the relevant organizations that offer special services for them, adding that having such information coupled together with collaboration of organizations would even go a step further in preventing abuse of the disabled and help curb the spread of HIV amongst them.
This cycle of support also improves the quality of service rendered to people with disabilities. And in the end, HIV and NCDs can be prevented amongst people with disabilities. Issues of negligence, stigma, and discrimination, defaulting of HIV medication, prevention of HIV and NCDs, and promoting of rights of people with disability can only continue to improve with proper collaboration and continued support between stakeholders and service providers.
Ditirelo tsa rona re le ka gone go rutuntsha batho ka ditshwanelo tsa bone le gone gore ba ka itshola yang gore ba ka itlhokomela yang mo gone gore ditshwanelo tsa bone di se ke di gatakiwa.
Organizations were encouraged to capacitate people living with diverse challenges about their human rights, as that would encourage self-acceptance and living life in abundance.
Studies have shown that some people with disabilities still have self-acceptance issues. Thus, the importance of capacitation on human rights cannot be overemphasized.
Persons with disability had an opportunity to test for non-communicable diseases and to register for special services with different organizations. Maranyane Samagata, BTV News, Maung.
The operation team at BCL is working tirelessly to manage the water levels in the underground tunnels, aiming to stop the tremors experienced in parts of Silibepikwe. Such tremors have persisted since December last year. Mamusi Siska with more.
For years, this town has been defined by the presence of the BCL mine, symbolizing industry and prosperity, until its closure in 2016. However, recently, the town has been shaken by a series of tremors, causing fear and uncertainty among its residents.
Ministry wa moepo kgothatsole metsi o bo kopana le ba Botswana Geoscience le Department of Mines go leka go engage Botswana Geoscience go leka go batlisisa go bona gore seemo se se ka tswa se ba kwa keng re mo thulaganyong gone yana re bereka le ba Botswana Geoscience ba na le di-instrument tse ba di tsentse mo moepong tse dingwe di ko tlase ka ko southeast tse dingwe di ko surface mo mahelong a harologaneng
e le gone go leka gore di ba thusa go monitora seemo go bona gore medumo e ka tswaetswa kae le bokete jo bokae.
Amidst this fear, a glimmer of hope emerged. The BCL operation team has returned to the mine to control the flooding of the underground tunnels.
Go ba maruwa le metsi na tsa a tetse mo le gore no gora gore da tswa ene pheo e simole e tsikinyalo mme re le mo lo re nya ka ba mo re ba simetse go pompa re tswa go iponna dipompo tseo le bokete jo dipompang ka jone no re tsa gore a khotswala re tsa gore seemo sta go tase.
Metsi a beilwe mo seelong se se tshwanetseng ga ba bua nne ba re a tla be a le go 8:30 ga ke sa go se 8:20 mme gore ba re ke tsone seelo se eleng gore ba tlo ba le ka go akgamela gone go gore ba pompe yaanong goromente tota ga nna hela goromente o tabogile le ena go bona gore makalana a gagwe ba dira se se tshwanetseng.
The team is working tirelessly to pump out the water and stabilize the tunnels.
Fikwe Central re simolotse go pompa sa le re simola 2 weeks back and re bore ya go southeast extension ke gone go eleng gore re busy teng re le ka go installa the permanent solution.
Currently, the water levels have decreased and the tremors have gradually subsided. The intention is to continue with this operation and hopefully to be included in the mine closure plan. Mamusi Siska, BTV News, Silibe Pigwe.
Tlokwen Land Board, in collaboration with land authorities and other stakeholders, held a one-day event to share insights on various issues affecting land allocations in Tlokwen. The gathering was officially opened by Khosi Puso Gaborone. Refilwe Mutube.
Furthermore, Khosi Gaborone discouraged the habit of plot alienation, hence the development of strategies like this one, as it teaches Botswana on sustainable avenues of wealth creation that do not involve sale of plots. This is after a realization that more than 70% of Botswana that apply are from outside Tlokwen, hence stipulating that 60% are allocated to local residents while 40% becomes available to non-residents.
Botswana is only 60%, 40%. But okobale 700 ba hilwe le hatsi ka tsamaiso yone memo makhulong a supa a re bolalwang ka ona ba le 118 le kholo masome le some le metso ya roba bobedi ba setse ba hitisitse le hatsi la bona magareng ga April 2022 le February 2024 118 plots gone. Jalo se ke sone se neng ke se tere ga re dira maiteko a go sireletsa beng gae bone beng gae ke bone ba ikamogang se go tweng ba sikeleditswe mo go sone.
The day was also graced by the area member of Parliament for Tlokwen constituency, Minister Thulaganyo Segoko, who also elaborated more on the importance of owning land as it gives one the advantage to vast opportunities.
Selo se se tona se re ka se dira ebile le puso gape ke go rotloetsa thuto ke go tsenya thuto mo bathong ka gore le hatse le ra eng mo go bone le ra eng ka isago ya bone le ra eng mo baneng ba bone gore ba tletse ba kgone gore ba le dirise ba le somarela ebile ba itse gore ke lone la gang bokamoso ja bone.
Re le Tlokwen Land Board re ne re na le pitso gompieko e ne re bitsa re land investment pitso e re neng re laleditse Batswana ba botlhe ka kakaretso re batla gore re nile le matshwenyo ga gore re itemogetse gore banana thata bogolo ga re sa ne go ba fa diploto ba di rekisa yaanong ke sengwe se ne re dirile gore re dire le thuto mo bananeng le thuto mo Batswaneng gore tota ba tshwanetse gore ba somarele lehatshe.
The event's overall goal, which is to have knowledgeable society as well as have Botswana participate in the land value chain economy. Rifle Mutube, BTV News, Tlokwen.
Absconsion of pupils in schools has been cited as the main contributor to underperformance in some schools within Sorowe sub-region. Suhuno Primary School Principal Ms. Gladys Rakodu says absconsion at the school is very high. Love more, Mario.
Seruwe Education Sub-Region oversees 31 primary schools, 12 junior secondary schools and 1 senior secondary school. Some of these schools are within Seruwe village, while some are in satellite areas surrounding Seruwe village. At Suhuno Primary School, desertion has been cited as the main concern. The school had expressed that a large number of students desert school and even do not return to finish their studies.
Maloba yana na last week yana ke ne ke sianne ke utlweletse ba le 7 ba le ko pele ko motseng wa Mabuo ba le ba rarona ba le ko motseng wa Motshagale Tau ke heletse ke ya go ba tsa ba tshwere ka go kgweteng yana ke sone se mo seleng gore rena le sone se leng gore se re bolela maduo ba gaetso.
However, some of the schools within the Seruwe sub-region have initiated some long-term strategies which will help them to improve their results. Among these schools are Grace Khari Primary School and Kalman Junior Secondary School.
Re khona madu a gape ka interregional networking re khona go kopa dipampiri ko bo St Mary's ko bo Mahalape sub-region ko bo North East kai gore bana ba rona ba nne le practice from different areas.
Thata ha o lebella di practical subjects di na le gore di re thuse mo go tsholetseng maduo. So higher third term re bitsa batsadi bothe ba the form 2s re ta go bua ka di practical subject and how to prepare. Le gore motsadi a itse gore ha ngwana ke a dira DNT project a dirang ke efe.
The Chief Education Officer at Seruwe Sub-Region, Mr. Gaubotse Mokomani, says they have introduced an initiative called Maduo Pitso, which is aimed at capacitating officials and improve the results.
The ministry management regionally took a decision to mount a Maduo Pitso, which was a multi-sectoral, multi-stakeholder approach towards unraveling bothata ja underperformance mo dikoleng tsa rona. I must indicate that it was quite a success because re ne rata ka resolutions tse re dumelang gore ha re di sala morago di ka kgona gore ntshetsa maduo.
Currently, only schools outside Seruwe are still battling underperformance. Leadership from different schools around Seruwe have appealed to sectors such as tribal leadership, Parents Teachers Association and churches to always be actively involved in students' education to get improved results at all times. Lovemore Mario, BTV News, Seruwe.
Languages can be used as a way to transmit and preserve traditional knowledge, values and culture in a sustainable manner, therefore cannot be compromised and be allowed to disappear. This was said by the Minister of Youth, Gender, Sports and Culture, Mr. Dumiso Rakgare, during National Language Day commemoration held in Sabina. Abigail Madorobo.
Languages are God-given and a critical element of heritage. First celebrated in 2008, the National Language Day cements the importance of appreciating local languages spoken by different communities across the country.
Saruna ke ipela ka timiami ile ka puo ya rona ya Setswana mme ka puo ya Sekgowa ra re my language my pride. Setlogo se re tla re le Batswana ebile se re kgothatsa gone go lemoga gore re na le ditemi ka go farologana mme ditemi tse re tshwanetse re itse gore di humile ke khumo e seng kana ka sepe e le gore e tswa kwa modimong.
This is not enough. Kutime mo the television tse Botswana o bene nako ya bona go lebele ka isarwa ne nako ya nako go lebele ka ikalanga nditho tse ga thama uti batho ba swi kumbula ku the dombu. Yes, we are being recognized as a tribe kana tele lodzi.
United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO says the statistic shows that it is important for children to be taught in their mother tongue in schools as it brings better results.
Monako ngeno batho ba le masome a mane mo lekgolong ka Sekgowa ga 40% lefatshe ka bophara ba kgona go akola thuto ya temo ya ga mmaa bone mme ba e bua ebile ba e tlhaloganya go feta se se amogela thata kgatlhego mo thutong.
An array of different dialects were sampled.
Itisani bonani. Linjani liapila.
The government of Botswana has taken a deliberate action to transform education at grassroots level by introducing the use of mother tongue languages, and currently 11 languages have been introduced in the school curriculum. Abigail Madorobo, BTV News, Sibina.
Youth consortiums are said to have a great potential of mass production and could be effective in reducing the import bill. This was said by the Francistown District Coordinator at the Ministry of Youth, Gender, Sports and Culture, Ms. Taini Khonzi, at the tour of Multipurpose Hub and Youth Entrepreneurship Graduation Ceremony. Faith Ditete reports.
It has been established that youth has a potential to contribute highly to the country's economy. Hence, the operation of this hub will boost and support the country's efforts in growing the economy.
Youth dividend. Banana ba le bantsi ba tshwere ka matsogo gona le se ba se dira. Itsholelo ya hetoga. Itsholelo e hetogela ko bontle ka gore a tabogiswa ke bone ba ba santseng bana le moko gore gaisa
gore mme banana ba hiwe ditamelo le ditiro tse di tokagetseng ke gore go bogona le go gongwe ko ba ka berekelang teng mme ra nna mono mongwe hela re le tropo ya Francistown gore ke go neha ra ditsala le helo le reking the hub where the improved programs and services will be ushered to the people of Francistown in order that
the Mindset Change Initiative, also being part of the country's intentions to push forth to become a high-income economy, encourages mass food production and self-empowerment.
It is commendable whatever today. I can't read the vegetables from outside. But we've changed that. We are changing that. We produce potatoes. It's not what I La wana le tshotse time and engineer. Time ana ga se phatsi mai hela ye leng gore e a ipua mo mmu. Time ane re tshotse le rona. Time ane ke yone tlhaloganye ya mo rona ye leng gore tshotse gore re hetole me re hetolele go botoke.
Nngwe ena ra itshumalela le BITC le le ya ra re are emeng ka di consortiums. Companies. Why the companies? Rather, we want to develop capacity for economic inclusion of the marginalized. Again, we want to develop capacity and platform for mass production. How can mass production? We also want to eliminate inferiority complex among the young people. When we have done this, we believe that we can reduce the import bill.
As some youth receive their certificates from entrepreneurial courses, youth in the country at large is implored to appreciate the struggles that comes with establishing a business. Graduates were urged to be agile as they persevere through. Faithy DTT, BTV News, Francistown.
It is time now for Ntabogang Semetlela to give us the latest in sports. Ntabo.
Hello, Khomotso.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good.
What good news have we had today? About any topic in our country?
Well, I've had good news about myself today, so we'll talk about it afterwards.
Oh, that's good. Thank you very much, Khomotso. This is Botswana Tonight Sports News. As part of the training camp, the senior women's national team, the MES, are set to play Belarus in a friendly match scheduled for tomorrow in Antalya, Turkey. The team started their Turkey training camp on the 18th of this month. Today, the MES finished their third training session, after which the head coach and his 23 women's squad say they are up to the challenge ahead. The match between the MES and Belarus is one of the 3 matches lined up for the local ladies.
Match day -1, obviously we're just working on our game approach in terms of how we want to play tomorrow, how we want to attack, how we want to defend, and the moments of transitions and the set piece actions, which are also very key to the game. In terms of player availability, everyone is available for selection. We don't have any major injuries, just slight knocks, light knocks, and everyone trained with the team today. And everyone is available for selection tomorrow, and we are looking forward to the game. And we want to measure in terms of progress, in terms of how we want to play, how far we have made progress. And we have a good feeling about the training session that we had here since arriving here. We are very specific in terms of our approach in training, in terms of how we want to play our game model, and we are looking forward to the game.
I think we've prepared well in the 3 days that we've been here. And like my teammates more training, it shows like they're ready. And the weather it's not that different from Kore and we're expecting positive results tomorrow on our first game.
Harizo riota ntse yang harisi re tshameke le bone, so ke tsa gore ha ke lebile di preparations tsa rena tse re nele le tsone le di player tsa me ka kwano re super re ready go ka tshameka le bone. Ke tsa gore ka moso rothela ba re mo campaign re tsologetse madu a positive.
In Botswana Premier League game played yesterday at VTM Arena, BTV 11 and VTM FC played 20-all draw. In the first half, BTV 11 executed instructions of coach Nelson Setswani by counter-attacking on VTM. Few minutes before first half goes to an end, Mbonisi Ngube made a goal on target from a pass made by Taunyani. However, the first half ended at near-all draw. VTM came back rejuvenated in the second half, and 15 minutes before the game ends, coach Ruben Chikoti made substitution to bring in Spizo Mnyeni, who brought a change on the game, having one-on-one attacks with BTV 11 goalkeeper. The Army side Southern draw leaves them seated on the 6th spot with 22 points, while Bafana Badijabani occupies 11th position with 17 points after their 5th draw of the season.
We played accordingly first half. Ekifilangore, honestly, truly speaking, could have scored 2 or 3 or 4 goals. But because we missed, we always miss, and we were missing again. If when you do even the thinking it's not working. I mean, you look at the chances first half, or second half, can ultimately will crack Komara. And that was what was coming to the players defensively. One chance they score, we are in trouble. So I want to buy Samika stable like they did in the first half. This is our problem.
You know, physically, they were better than us, and that's why we lost it out. But in the after half time, we told them to say no body contacts, but still more. We kept on doing body contacts, and that's when we happened to lose it from there. They had their own chances, and also we had our own chances. We couldn't bury them. But I feel looking at the squad that they have and our squad, they had a better squad, and the 0-0 draw is a bonus to us.
Moving on and still with the Premier League, Security Systems moved to the 4th position on the Premier League standings after defeating Matabele FC 1-0 in a game played this afternoon at the National Stadium. Tamelo Monsusi reports.
The Alarm Boys started on high, clearly in search of an early goal, but Lady Luck seemed to smile away from them. Security Systems did find the back of the net in the 30th minute, however, courtesy of their 17-year-old winger Raymond Otsoteng, following a pinpoint cross from Bokan Ratipana. From the halftime break, Kukanzu created numerous scoring opportunities through the attackers Kemoring Batisani, Bono Mosea among others, but somehow lacked killer instinct in front of goal. The game ended in a 1-0 victory for Security Systems.
We tried to have gradual build-ups from the back, which we did very well. We combined the through midfield, going wide and putting a lot of crosses inside the box. But today we were badly let down by poor finishing in front of goal. What is encouraging from this fixture is that we are creating chances. We created a lot of chances. What we need to do is just to convert our chances. We will try and help the young players to be composed in front of goals, to also to take responsibilities. If you look, there are players who were one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but instead of finishing, they want to dribble, they want to pass the responsibility. We really need to work on that. Then if we can start taking responsibility, taking shots at goals, we'll score goals.
I think during the week, our main concern was to try and psych the boys to believe more because we had 3 games in a row lose. So we had to dig it deep, and it didn't matter how the result all what we wanted to do is to just take it over the line. We wanted 3 points more than anything to try and boost the players to come back and be themselves. And I hope that this victory, it will ignite them to come back and start believing on themselves that they can do more.
The victory elevated the Alam Boys to 4th position on the log standing with 25 points from 16 games. Matebele, on the other hand, dropped from 4th spot to 7th on the log with 22 points. Tlamelo Muntsusi, BTV Sports, Gaborone.
And lastly, earlier today, Botswana Swimming Sports Association held the first day competitions of the National Swimming Championship at University of Botswana, where athletes were competing in long-distance races. Let's hear more about the competition from Karabo Bosena.
We are at the University of Botswana Swimming Pool, where Botswana Swimming Sport Association are having their 18th National Finals. This is not the National Finals, it is an event in which they are using to qualify the swimmers to the Olympics Paris 2024. Today it was day 1. It is a competition of 4 days. You'll come to an end on Sunday. Remember, there are 10 local clubs here, but we also have visitors from Zimbabwe. To wrap up how day 1 actually went, I am with the president of Botswana Swimming Sport Association, Mrs. Khoza Matthews, just to hear from her how the day 1 went about. Matthews, thank you so much for your time. How can you wrap up day 1 of your 18th National Finals?
I think day 1 went very well. I'm actually very happy, very pleased that we started on time, and the officials are tip-top. Everything is going well.
Talking about everything going well, today it was the long distances. We saw the athletes doing 1.5. Are you guys happy with the attendance of the swimmers?
We're very happy because, as you know, when a swimmer is developing, they need to do more long distance. So we're quite happy to see that we introduced the 1.5 race last year. And we're quite happy to see that quite a lot of swimmers have caught onto it. We want to see the swimmers, especially the developing ones, better their time every time they get in the water.
I'm happy with how I performed today, mainly because I got a 15-second PB. I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, it shows all our hard work has showed off.
I'm very happy because I PB'd by 2 minutes, and let's hope it continues through the gala.
From Botswana Tonight, a sports desk that was all we had for you this evening. Until we meet again tomorrow same time. For now, thank you for staying with us and good afternoon. Back to Khomozo to give us the backhats.
We are about to go home and it is good afternoon.
Who said good afternoon? I said good afternoon. My apologies.
Clearly you don't want to go home. You are having too much fun here. It is great to have fun at work.
It is like saying good morning. Normally I say good morning anytime during the day.
Well, I suppose it could be afternoon somewhere in the world. After all, we're on a...
Probably a premonition for me going overseas.
Probably, my friend. That was Ntabogang Sebatlela giving us the latest in sports. Let's take a final look at stories leading the way this evening. President Masisi launched the Muchudi electric power substation plant this morning. Ms. Boitumelo Kgofamodimo sworn in as specially elected member of parliament. And in sports, the Mayors continue with their preparations ahead of WAFCON. That's all that we had for you in our news bulletin this evening. BTV News, Ikanya Rona, #BW Mindset Change.
In this edition of Eye on SADC, late President Gengob, a man of principles, says UN resident coordinator. Furthermore, Botswana's First Lady in Namibia comforts Madam Monica Gengos. And traditional authorities in Namibia